So whatever. We'll talk about.
Am I
Like, what
recording?
did you play while I was gone? Did you Mass Effect it up?
Actually, I've been doing a lot of the Elder Scrolls Online, and I tried to fix Skyrim, but ultimately it didn't work, which is odd because there's some people whose PCs can run like a billion mods, but mine could hardly run like it can't like the smallest amount of mods like because it's odd how the Skyrim modding thing for Nexus works. Essentially, windowed mode. How do you do it? Give me a second. Alt enter voice. Anyway, it's odd how the modding works. It's like
Let's turn that off. So
essentially for Skyrim, it's like you install your mods in the game files, but they don't actually load with the game unless they're plugged in. So you can check or uncheck these plugins via Nexus or even the Skyrim launcher. I have in total 100 plugins. Now there are people, so that's not 100 different mods. A lot of those plugins are also, compatibility patches for two different mods that are, that overwrite the same values to cooperate. I think that's how it works. But anyway, there are people who can run like 300 mods on their rig max,
like now chest for each.
and yeah, no kidding. But I lowered my plugin number, as in like unticked a bunch of compatibilities and certain mods I knew I wouldn't use right now, to about 68. It still wouldn't run. So that's odd, because my computer used to run fine with a lot of mods. Like, I even fixed the errors between mods that would, like, conflict. So
Probably gonna have to like drain it out, which is a fucking annoying process. But you might actually have to do that because you can't find like what exactly is causing the problem. You're gonna have to like.
well, no, I know the problem
there's
seems to be that
probably
just I can't run.
there's probably like a geeky like computer term for it, but I call it draining it out, and I usually have to do it like every year because something in my computer will get
Oh,
attached.
you mean cleaning up your computer?
Like I mean, I guess if that's what you would call it. I mean, like
Okay, let me
taking all
ask you
the
this: like, your computer will run, look for any junk that's not actually necessary that'll run in the background and slow it down and get rid of it.
well, no, some programs can't even detect that. Like, I mean, maybe for yours it's different because your computer's better, but mine.
There's a
I,
CC cleaner. I'm not screen
I mean,
sharing, but
like, I mean, if you want it, if it works for you, that's fine. I don't know. I'm not gonna talk like I know your computer, but
like, what
for mine.
exactly do you mean? I'm not sure
I
I
mean, it's the
understand.
same thing except mine. I mean, I don't know if it's gonna work for yours because your cleaner might do the job, but for me, sometimes I'll download stuff and it'll a packet or some kind of thing will be on there that can't be detected by cleaner. So I'll have to I don't know the term for it, but I call it draining out, and it's kind of like cleaning your computer. Except what you do is you take you get a badass USB or some kind of comp disk, and you put all the shit, whether it be games or whatever, you put everything you want to keep that would normally be on your computer. You put it on that, and then everything else you just take. It takes 3 years for my computer. It takes forever. But you just delete everything on there, and I call it draining it out because it makes it's like 100%
So
all
you're
your.
backing up things that you want but don't need to free up space?
No, I'm just backing up everything I want to keep on the computer and deleting everything else, i.e., like draining it out, making sure all the
Oh,
sludge.
you
It's
mean
just a. It's
uninstalling
just
your
a.
entire hard drive, like your OS included?
No, like resetting it to factory default to just taking everything out and making it go bye bye. Basically, it's like to me for me it's a surefire way to make sure anything I can't find, any nitpicks that might stick around that slow down my computer, make sure all those are gone
Yeah,
because it
I don't
just
think I need to do
completely.
that. Like the systems I run, generally once every month or two, is CC cleaner, malware bites, and occasionally AVGN. I think that's what it's called, or is it just AVG?
Yeah.
It's just AVG. So it'll get rid of anything that'll slow down my computer and any files that I don't need but will run in the background. It's easier than just, deleting everything off my computer. And as you can see by my wall of games, not possible.
Yeah, because it would probably take hours, maybe even days for yours, but for mine it works. I don't know, that process works for me because, I have for my dad, even though he's in jail, I got a lot of his shit. So I have discs that are like badass third-party rate shit that could probably fit like 2 computers on each of them. So I can just put all my shit on there and then
Is
just
that legal?
Well, they're probably from companies that don't exist anymore. So, like, I mean, my dad's like old, so he's been from, he's bounced around this country even before I born. He's got knickknacks and shit in his possession. Well, now in mine. That's probably, not, I guess, given out anymore. I don't know why. I don't think that would be illegal because he bought them. I mean, like, he bought them at, I don't know where the fuck, some computer store that doesn't exist anymore. He bought them and they're like badass, super duper. I mean, like, fitting, 2 whole, I guess, memory sizes on the disk. That's an over exaggeration. I could say, for this laptop, I could probably put everything on one of these discs. But when it comes to like a regular PC like yours, I could probably maybe fit like 50 to 75%. I couldn't put a whole computer on there. That's just an over exaggeration on how powerful this thing is. So, I mean, I don't have much that I want to take off and then put back on. So it's, doesn't matter to me. But these are like badass super discs, and I only have a few of them. So they were in a stack, and I don't know where the stack went.
You're a stack.
So while you're doing that,
I guess we should explain to everybody what's going on here. So...
Did you start recording?
Yeah, I have been for a while.
Oh, wow. So we've been talking about bullshit. Wow. Okay, whatever.
Not like there's anything we need to talk about. So this is the BLP. Now, I wonder what you're thinking. Isn't this essentially just a 5 Nights of Freddy Let's Play? Well, it's not. For starters, let's just go ahead and say that right now. It's not. You're full of it.
He's just gonna play something in the background because, I mean, I'm doing that right now, too. It's like, you only see his end, but I'm doing State of Decay while he's doing next. We need to have things happening.
It's easier to do this when you're not physically sitting with someone talking.
Yeah, it's like we need to be doing a thing with our hands, and like other activities need to be happening. I don't know if it's I don't know what you want to call it. It could be ADHD or anything, but we need to have other things happening too.
Oh no, I just dislike you to the point where I need to do something else to keep me sane while I talk to you.
Neat. Oh, I love you too, sweet treats. Anyways,
what does yeet mean?
Neat.
Oh, neat? I thought you said yeet with a Y.
Yes, yeet, because that's a word.
It is, actually. Well, it's not a real world word, but it's one of those words that people have come up with to say for some reason.
I didn't know that. Congratulations, you've informed me on another useless wannabe word.
I'm essentially Urban Dictionary at this point.
So, to catch everybody up, I was kind of... First, it started out with, like, brain problems with me, and then after that subsided, I started getting, like, on the road to sick, but I subverted that, disaster by taking a bunch of fucking medicine, which, normally when you're getting sick, medicine doesn't help, but this time it fucking helped. I caught it early, so I didn't get, like, full-on sick. I avoided it, which was good. But for, like, the past 4 to 5 days, I've been out of shit and doing crazy shit. And
do you remember at what time Freddy starts to try and sneak into your door?
What night are you on?
4.
Probably 2 a.m. on.
You're kidding me. It is 2 a.m. Let me see if Freddy's still...
Well, that's what I remember from the others. But yeah, so with me, like, I had many misadventures while I was not computering. First, before we go into any of that, let's do our weekly wrap-up. Yeah, I guess you can go first.
We have a wrap-up now?
What the fuck have you been doing? What have you been playing?
Well...
Oh, Jesus.
There's my Nintendo Wii.
Oh, okay, I see.
I'm talking about my penis, of course.
Where?
I was playing Homefront because I saw the trailer for Homefront Revolution, and I was like, "Wow!" I remember playing Homefront when I was a kid. That game was essentially Call of Duty and it was really bad, but I liked the idea of North Korea invading. So
I have that game somewhere here too, and I didn't like. I mean, the story, they just kind of threw it they should have just made it a multiplayer, because the multiplayer...
I wouldn't have been okay with that.
I would have, because, I don't know, because you play PC, so you probably played it on PC, but for me, like, they pulled off the multiplayer aspect of that game really well on console, and so the story was shit.
Well, no, like, I never even played the multiplayer part. I just... Here's the thing.
I thought the story... kind of poop.
Like, I liked the idea, and the story itself kept me entertained enough to play through it. That's all I know.
I actually got upset. Like the beginning bit was amazing, but the rest of it was just kind of really, I don't care.
It went down. I
It went
can't.
downhill. Like it started off great, but it went downhill.
I think it started going downhill around the time, like, after the farm part. I think after you break through the city and you meet the hillbillies.
Yeah.
Cause like
It just starts getting
the sanctuary was really cool, and
yeah, that was pretty damn.
the sanctuary being ripped apart was awesome, and then escaping the city was like an awesome scene. But then once you get to the hillbillies, it's just a little boring.
Yeah, it's just like I mean, it got kind of stale, and it's just they didn't.
But
They had to save up, like, I don't know what the excuse was on for PC, but it seems like overall they just, for whatever reason, wanted like oh my god, my car's on fire, Jesus Christ, I can't lose this survivor, run away. Anyways, it's
context.
like they built up, they, put a lot of effort and memory and all this other shit, into multiplayer, so they just kind of crapped out a story that was not even... It was just 5 missions of just pure menagerie, and
though I have to say the ending sequence, like in the final battle of San Francisco, that was awesome. And then
because you don't even get to finish the battle, which is annoying.
Oh god damn it! Oh god damn it!
Hopefully we're talking about the same game, because I don't know how you could find that ending satisfying.
Well, no, I did not like the ending at all, but the final level, where it starts out, you get on a helicopter toward the bridge, and you're fighting through San Francisco's bridge, and then you see Alcatraz Island get taken, and then, like, they think you die, but you're under the bridge. All of that was just really cool for me.
Really good, yeah.
Not to mention the set pieces, like, even right now, they held up pretty well. Like, Alcatraz Island and the smoke rising from it, it didn't look great, but it certainly was entertaining.
Good, yeah.
And Homefront the Revolution, like, you know how Homefront was essentially like Call of Duty, but for some reason more likable?
Pretty much. Like,
well, Homefront the Revolution is like Far Cry 4, but more likable, even though Far Cry 4 is pretty likable.
Okay.
Because, have you seen it? It's essentially Far Cry 4 with North Koreans, but I love it.
I haven't, but I did, like, I would say Homefront pulled off the, like, impossible motif of North Korea invading better than, like, the Red Dawn remake did.
Oh, I totally didn't realize that Homefront was like Red Dawn, the video game.
The Red Dawn, like, remake, like, they did poorly.
Didn't it have Josh from Drake and Josh?
Motif. Like,
didn't it have Thor and Josh? It had Thor and Josh.
Fuck them. Fuck them in their ass. Like, really, everybody who's competent dies, and so we're gonna have a crying... I mean, spoilers, everybody, but we're gonna have the crying baby character cry his way through the revolution. Yes, our main martyr, not necessarily like the main general, because there was other factions, that had their own shtick, but it seemed like the main martyr, like what they were hinting at, the main martyr of the revolution against, like, the, oppressive North Koreans was this crying wussy face. Like, he was just I mean...
Wait, which one? I never actually saw the Red Dawn remake.
Yeah, he was a crying wussy bitch. He's like, my bro, oh my god, everybody's coming.
Which one, Thor or Josh?
He's a bitch.
Which one, Thor or Josh?
Josh.
Okay, I like Thor.
Thor was an okay character. I mean, like, the soldier brother is actually a thing that's been done before and done a lot better. I feel like that character, like, in that context was written well, but that's a character that's been done before, so I don't really think that's a merit you could count towards that
I like
movie.
how in this context it sounds like we're talking like Thor and Josh were actually in Red Dawn.
Thor and Josh. Yes, Josh from Drake and Josh and Thor smite the
North Koreans.
the encampment of the United States by North Korea.
Even though Thor himself is a Norse god who has no interest in human politics, he does not like North Korea.
Hardcore by insurgency, which was this. I don't know, like, do you remember how they called them, like, foreign insurgents or something like that? Like, they were getting foreign aid from.
Did they skip out on calling them Koreans because they were scared of repercussions?
No, like, they called them North Koreans, but there was that part where it was, like, that montage of how the revolution... Not the revolution... Like, they weren't at the revolution part yet, but they were like, it was that weird kind of not kind of montage of the resistance, the forces that haven't been quelled yet by the invading North Koreans. They were having that weird montage of, oh no, everything's escalating. Here's the North Koreans, escalating their tactics against the so-called resistance.
Ah, goddamn.
There was a part in that weird montage thing of the North Koreans called in help, and they called them, I think, insurgents. They were like backup, and they looked like Europeans. I was thinking, like, when that part came up, like, what the fuck European country would help North Korea?
This is North Korea. Help.
Help. Here we are to save the day, North Koreans. 3 random Europeans.
What should I play in the background? I'll go ahead and let you in on what I do in the background now for fun, considering this is essentially a Let's Play Brothers video, but an hour long without any tie to anything.
Straight out of dance moves, cause fuck you.
I like how a podcast is supposed to be talking, but I'm essentially making this the opposite of a podcast.
Let's play random things.
But podcast.
But we are talking.
Since we're talking about Homefront, do you want to just blow through Homefront for fun?
We can do that real quick. I want to there's a point I want to make about the games I've played, but I guess we could start on that. So we'll once we're done with Homefront, we'll kind of get to my game because I have a point to make, but it might, let's get through it. Let's go through Homefront because the point I'm gonna make is probably gonna get some people way.
You can see it, right? Like you can see the game.
What the fuck is that? Oh, that's Homefront.
Yeah, it runs in a weird windowed mode. I don't like it.
Yeah. Okay, I'm driving. Oh god, my survivors are gonna die. I gotta get home. I'm playing Breakdown. Oh no, make more rations, you dumbass. Okay. I need.
Also, there's a very specific reason why I can't play Homefront's multiplayer, but I'm not going to reveal that.
Why? Oh, well, I think I know why.
You know why. But no one else needs to know why.
No one needs to know why. That's top secret. Fuck! I hit him with the door. How did that injure my car? Fuck you, game.
Are you okay, Reid?
No, I gotta get an Xbox One now. Because I was gonna get an Xbox, save up and get an Xbox One originally for Dead Rising 3. But then I found out Dead Rising 3 sucks dick, and I was so disappointed. But now I have to get an Xbox One because not Homefront. State of Decay Year 1 Edition basically updates the game. Like, they cut off all updates for the 360 because they fucking hate me, that's why.
Oh my god. I'm trying to find ways to make the window better, but it's not working.
So, I guess while you're fiddling with that, I can go over what I guess I did. So, while I guess I could save those stories for another time, I don't know. So I had, as I said at the beginning, the menagerie with me being almost sick, and then I had brain problems because I take medication for psychological mumbo jumbo in my brain, and I have hallucinations. I don't know what I'm like now because I've been so long on medicine keeping my brain afloat that it's not used to existing without some kind of supplement and stimulant there to help it not be crazy. So at the times when I have nothing in my brain to help it not be crazy, it goes fucking crazy. And that's basically what happened to me is I had hallucinations as if somebody was in my house. For whatever reason, the medicine that night didn't work. And so I had hallucinations, hardcore. And I ended up having, my sister had to, from Florida, by the way, call the Texas. It was probably an awkward phone call. From Florida, she had to call the Texas, my local area's non-emergency line, which is a thing for some reason. So the cops had to come and kind of check the house, and that got me kind of, yelled at. Steve threw a baby hissy fit at me for that because he thought they came in the house. It was a big misunderstanding. So, that happened, and then I got a bat for my room. So if anybody actually ever comes in the house, legitimately, I have defense. Because it's me and 2 doors with a bunch of super awesome locks. And if anybody gets past those doors, I am dead. I mean, that was before I got the bat. That was me, because that's why I was panicking so bad, losing my shit. Because if somebody gets, not now, obviously, but before, if somebody got past those doors, I would just be dead. Because I'm a weak baby man. My legs are great. If I could kick high enough, I could probably do some damage. but like my upper body fucking sucks. So I could run a mile, but if I need to like go, 12 rounds with Apollo Creed, kiss me goodnight, then I'm done.
Apollo Creed? What the hell are
That
you
was a
on
Rocky.
about?
That was a Rocky reference. That was a sentence that led to a Rocky reference. Congratulations, you're pregnant. Anyways, so
What the fuck? Wow, I'm not good at this.
After that, I kind of went on to play games. I was getting sort of sick, but avoided it because the marvels of modern fucking medicine. So I played Civilization Revolution a lot, or the full title being Sid Meier's Civilization Revolution. Haha. And I played a lot of that, and for anybody who's an avid player, you know that like every civilization in that's not you. It's basically tantamount to like the Jews from the first or from the Old Testament. If you don't give them the thing, they will kill you. They're like every civilization, they don't want to trade. Sometimes they'll rarely like trade technology with you, but they're like either give me the thing or we will invade you. And I'm like, I don't want to give you the thing. And they're like, well, fuck you, we're going to invade you now. So they're basically the Jews from the Old Testament.
We don't want to give you our women, man. We need them. Well, fine, we'll just take them. Yeah, wow, this pistol is like better than literally any of the weapons in the game so far, and I'm not exaggerating. It's easy to use. It aims well.
Ooh, I like that pistol. Anyway, so
well, that didn't help. It didn't help much there though.
Oh my god, why are there so many... And my car's on fire. Lovely. So, why don't you tell the people what you've been doing on Tumblrs?
I've been on Tumblr in weeks, actually.
Oh, don't you normally Tumblr?
I do, but it's been a while.
Tumblr! I used to hate Tumblr, but now I like it because they're like the only website that's friendly to everything. Even their menus for like shit being broken is very just chillax. It's like, whoa, this is broken, whoopsie doodle. And they have porn, which is a plus. Like, they're so open with all sexualities, it's great. And oh my fucking god, everything is on fire.
On Tumblr or in State of Decay?
Both. But no, I like Tumblr now a lot more because it does house like, bitchy tweens, but at the same time, it's like accepting of literally everything and everyone.
Which is why it has bitchy tweens. Hey,
yeah, because you all the things.
You take the good with the bad, even if the good is the bad.
When I fucking browse porn, most often than not, it leads to Tumblr, and it will lead to communities of people just being people. Like, their thing may be tantamount to pornography in some way, but it's like they're just being people. Like, there's this one thing I stumbled onto when I was looking at, stuff. And,
You're looking at stuff?
Yeah, I was looking at porn, obviously, duh. But no, so I stumbled onto it, and it was just like, it was a weird, I don't know, I guess a member of that weird Tumblr, I guess that member of that, the member of that Tumblr community, and there was a post about that anime glasses thing, where the person touches their glasses in anime, if I can find it again, I'll show you. You might like that community for other reasons than porn. But I thought that was kind of funny. They just do shit. Like, that's their thing. They're like, here's our thing that could be tantamount to pornography. Now we're going to be people, which I like. Like, people can just be people no matter what their shtick is. I like that.
I think I missed half that conversation because it went from porn to something about glasses and then porn.
I'm just saying, like, doesn't matter what the community is, people are just act like people on there, which is great. Like, they're not fucking at each other's throats through to different, because of different points of views on things.
No, instead of being at each other's throats, they just throw snarky comments around.
I mean, that's a thing, sure, but that's like the extent. I haven't seen any flame wars on there as of yet. Are there some? Probably, but I haven't seen it. And until I see that, I like Tumblr, so don't ruin it for me, you whore.
I don't know. I've seen many a great penis on the Tumblr.
Well, it's either Tumblr or what was that? Chat roulette.
Chat roulette.
Yes, that's still relevant somehow. I don't know why it is, but it is.
That South Park episode with chat roulette was fucking great.
Oh, I gotta see that. People keep telling me it's good, and I just ran over all the zombies. All right, time to go home.
Huh, what can I play?
Your balls? I don't know. Go play your guitar.
It's all the way over there.
This fucker. He doesn't want to go to college. He doesn't want to play the guitar. He doesn't want to like be a people.
Ugh. I'm gonna be a crab.
Be a crap. Everybody like spam in the comments. Go to hashtag Sebastian. Go to college. You fuck.
I'm gonna be a crab, and Sheila will be crab with me, and we
You know
will
what?
be crab
Go to
together.
crab college. How about that?
I don't think crabs have colleges because everyone
You
in this
fucking
world
start the
is a
revolution. Be
massive
the pioneer.
racist.
Be the pioneer in crab college. You and Sheila can start the first ever crab college, and you can go do your shit.
I don't think crabs are intelligent enough to learn.
Well, aren't you racist towards your crab brethren?
I am. They all suck. That is why I am among them.
Oh, these glasses help me see everything. All right.
Oh, so. Oh my god.
Did you blow out the audio?
Probably. There was gaming stuff. There was gaming stuff, but I can't remember the gaming stuff now.
I shorted all my stories and shit so you could have like time to save things, but now you're out of the things. Get the things back, damn it.
Well, we have Fallout 4 coming in November, and a month before that, October, I'm gonna get my Fallout anthology. Which
I thought you were supposed to get it in September.
Well, it's released in like its release date is 29th of September, and with the 1 day shipping, I would have got it on the 30th. But that 1 day shipping would have added $20 to the $40 price tag.
Yeah, just wait.
So I get it on October 5th. But I'm probably
Why
gonna.
the fuck do you get a month early, even without paying the super duper thing? Why do you still get it like kind of a month early?
Wait, Fallout Anthology doesn't have Fallout 4 in it. How many times do I have to say that? Fallout Anthology is all the games. Fallout New Vegas.
Oh, I thought you said the Fallout Anthology. Okay, whatever. I thought. So you're getting that in October, and then we'll get. Are you?
I'm gonna binge play Fallout 1 a bunch.
I'm totally okay with you pre-ordering Fallout 4, but that's like to the. I mean, I'm.
Well, I mean, the thing about that is, A, I'd be breaking my own pre-order rule. I don't like to break my own rules often. I set them for a reason. And B, it's
which
just.
you don't ever mostly follow because something else of interest pops up,
Staffu.
which is fine. That's human nature. There's nothing wrong. Jesus.
And then there's. God, I'm sure my grandpa can hear all of this. And then there's the fact that I trust Bethesda. I do, but it's hard. It's really hard for me nowadays to think, oh, on the first day of release, this game will be flawless. There'll be nothing wrong with it, and it'll play well. I'm just expecting something to be wrong with Fallout 4, so I want to wait.
Okay, let's load the RV. Alright, everybody, let's go make... Oh, what the fuck? Why are all of you missing?
$5 says that the Pip-Boy edition of Fallout 4, like, the Pip-Boy's gonna be cracked or whatever.
Does this, like, bad expectation come from experience, I'm assuming?
Assassin's Creed Unity. Never again. I'm not kidding. I thought it was gonna be a great game. I really did. No, you don't understand. Like, I saw the gameplay, and I was so excited and happy. I thought it was going to be an amazing game.
But French Revolution, though, it's like, it was one of those games, I mean, I saw, like, gameplay and it looks cool, but I trust your opinion, and it sounds like one of those games that had, like, a cool concept, so they didn't want to add anything to it, because they thought the concept would hold up on its own.
Well, no, the problem with the game was the fact that, for starters, the story... Like, it was cool, but the execution was so poor. I was yawning throughout the entire thing. There was no motivation for me to keep going through the world, for me to see what would happen next. And the reason for that is the second reason it was bad, and that is there was no story outside the Animus. There was nothing at stake. There was no one, I knew I was fighting for. There was nothing. Yeah, that's my main objection, is that there was no outside Animus story, because, like, I mean... even in Black Flag, I loved that I could go around and hack. I loved that there was still something going on in the world, but I still wanted a character to play, of course. Anyway, That's my third. So I felt like there was nothing to fight for. There was nothing to keep me going. And then the third thing, which is, oh my god, I set that thing to max graphics, and well, granted, my PC could barely handle it. It was so bad. It's like when you apply a bunch of mods to a game, but you
And
only
it's
cater to certain aspects of the game. So, like, some of the clothing looked good on Arno, and then the pillage, like the villager clothing, looked really, really bad. And some rooftops from afar looked awesome, and some rooftops when you jumped on them looked like you landed on a PS2 model. It's just, it was so poorly done, and the worst part is even with all the updates, sure, it was playable, but
but it was not good.
I didn't want to play it. It was the worst
Do you,
Assassin's Creed game I've ever played in my life.
do you remember
And
that?
I'm not expecting Syndicate to be any different. I did have my hopes up for 5 minutes while watching the gameplay. I was like, this looks great. Holy shit. And then I sat there and went, Assassin's Creed Unity. Never again.
Do you think? I mean, do you remember that? Like, for by the way, people, we have we're not stupid. I mean, we do stupid things, but we're not stupid. Like, we have in-depth conversations, but it's not about anything important like life or philosophy. Do you remember that in-depth conversation I, and Jeremy had about fucking Assassin's Creed for like 3 hours straight, nonstop?
I just left abruptly. I was like, this is getting out of hand.
But yeah, so we had that conversation, and it ended well. Like, me and Jeremy, I mean, it sounds like we argue a lot. It sounds like we're dickheads, but we're good friends. We've known each other for a long time, and like our arguments sound like not arguments, but our conversations sound like they're going to end in fights, but they really don't. That's just our mentality with each other because we're kind of protective.
And it's the word's defensive, and I'm very defensive as well, but I don't like to argue with people, even if it is rational
I mean,
debate.
it sounds like argument, but it's really not. It's just like we're so used to trying. Like, I mean, I kind of connect with him on that. As I'm just so used to just trying to have a conversation with a person, and I'm not used to it. So neither of us we want to the thing you and I do. It took me forever to get used to having just have a normal conversation with you. There's like a few people on this planet. Even some of my family, I guess that's just my mentality. I mean, I thought it was just my mentality, but it's kind of a human thing. And where I grew up, I'm just so used to not having a conversation that it's really fucking hard. And Jeremy hasn't really got into it with other people. Like, as I said, it took me forever with you to just go from not trying it went from me holding myself back, not trying to prove some kind of point or trying to find some kind of point to prove, because that's not necessary. We were just talking like human beings. And so for us, we are not used to that. And so for us, we have normal conversations, but to everybody else, it sounds like we're having a heated argument. Well, we're not. We're just not used to being people with each other. We're used to having to prove some kind of point when that's not necessary. We can just talk. And so it sounds like I mean, it took me a while with you. Like, it kind of threw me back because you're just like, I'm just trying to talk and be a person. And I'm like, wait, what? I didn't, I have that. That's I'm good at making, I guess, friends, because I always feel like I have to prove something because people are so fucking stupid.
You know what game was worth pre-ordering, though?
What?
Lost via Domus.
Are you going to talk about that now?
No, I'm not. I'm not touching that until we do the videos on it.
Why?
Because it's going to be beautiful, that's why. You don't understand. I don't want any context for this whatsoever.
Didn't you just say, bananas because of, or not? You had, a weird thing. No, I want you to... Where the fuck? Why do you guys keep running away? Get on the RV before I hurt you. Anyways, didn't you just say that you were gonna have your never again syndrome with games?
Yeah, my never again syndrome. That I have trusted, I have trust issues with Assassin's Creed Unity. It's like an abusive boyfriend that beat me senseless and then got me to love it again, and then beat me senseless and then pissed on me. And then left with all my stuff.
I was going to go there, but I didn't want to because people would probably get mad. But you went there. I guess that analogy makes sense to us. I just hope nobody...
Now I can never trust another game again.
But you've just fucking... That's my point. You just said that, and then you're like, oh, I love this. This game is going to be fucking awesome.
Well, no, you don't... Okay. No, Lost via Domus has been out since 2006.
What the fuck?
I was making a joke. This is the. Oh my god, you are.
Well, explain, not to just me, but to the audience, because they were confused too.
Okay, there doesn't need to be any context here whatsoever. There
There
just
doesn't have
doesn't.
to be context. Just explain like what makes
That would be
this.
context, and I'm not giving any context.
That's not fuck. That's cut. No, I'm not talking about context as well. I guess that would make sense. Okay, but why won't you explain why this game is different? That's
Because we're doing an obscure games on it, and I don't want you to know anything about it prior to playing it, besides the fact that it's based off the TV show Lost.
you. Wait, what the fuck? Is that the stupid? Don't you already have a game like that? Because you
I
showed me.
do. That's
A,
I've been talking about
I
it for
loved
like
Lost.
years.
I fucking loved Lost. Lost was one of my favorite shows I watched last season. Like, I was a Lost fanboy. And then the last season came out, and I was like, I want to fucking hang myself with the ceiling now.
Anyway, back to me not being able to trust games. So, I did pre-order the Fallout Anthology, but for one reason, and that is because Fallout New Vegas, the newest game in that package, has been out since about 2011 or so. So that's 4 years.
12-ish.
And all the rest of the games came out well before that. So that means they haven't been in production recently. They're fine. So there's no problems with that. And I'm not expecting any problems with, well, a little. I'm expecting some problems with it, but I'm okay with it.
I remember the point I was going to raise to you. I mean, you can hate Unity. You're in your own right. I'm not going to try to convince you not to, like, because I would be playing devil's advocate for somebody in the comment section, which I'm not going to do because I don't really give a fuck. But, because I haven't played Unity, and I'll trust your opinion to avoid it.
Well, no, you don't have to. You can get the game if you want to, especially if you want heavy disappointment and tears for several days in a row.
The reason why I remember why I brought out that in-depth argument with Jeremy and all that, and I remember a point I raised before you, because I know you probably don't remember it, but I know I raised this point to you before you left, is kind of a thing, because you really enjoy it, and I was trying to say, that's fine with you, but the thing is I was talking about a game that could possibly just be, one, because Assassin's Creed in general is 2 stories in one. It's outside the Animus and then the Assassin, correct? And I remember that conversation, and I'll pose it to you again, for the longest time they've done both stories in one game. But I was trying to say, like, what, a lot of people, including me, want an Assassin's Creed that is just one or the other. And it's kind of hard to do outside the Animus story, because why the fuck bring up the Animus if you're never going to go into it? So that's kind of difficult to do on its own, but it sounds like Unity would have been that thing that everybody was clamoring for a story that has nothing to, I mean, they shouldn't have had you sitting on a computer screen and doing shit. It should have just been a game set in that period where you're the assassin. That would have been an interesting, fun thing. Not everybody... I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong or, you're fucking idiot for liking having both or liking the Animus story. Just a lot of people, including me, don't want that. We want a game where it's just you, assassin, go. And that sounds like that was what Unity was trying to be, but it sounds like it failed because of that computer screen bullshit. And then also your points of it just being boring.
I don't know. When there's an outside the Animus story, there's 2 things that come with that. A, there's just the coolness of having the possibility or even the actual event of an assassin in the real world. Like in Assassin's Creed 3, when you're running through that building still under construction, that felt really fucking cool. It was like I was being teased. Someone was rubbing my nipples with peanut butter. But then but then they went no further and they left my house and they didn't call me.
But they called you back in other games.
Anyway, and 2, I feel like in the Animus, while it always does need an inside Animus story that's good, which Unity also wasn't, I feel like I have something to go for. I have a goal, and that is to make sure I actually live in the future. And it just didn't work in Unity.
I guess we could do it for next podcast. I mean, I don't know how you're going to do it. Maybe you should look up an LP, and I'll try to play the game to look up an LP, but... it kind of keeps reminding me, like, in the Animus aspects of Saints Row 4, and I kind of want to go on, like, we're probably not going to do it this podcast, but for one of our podcasts, because you went off, and I know, like, basic stuff about, Mass Effect. So when you went off on the Mass Effect tangent, I was barely keeping along, and so I kind of want to go in onto something that I care about and that I want to tangent about, but instead of just having, one party barely hanging on, I would, maybe you could either play or just watch, kind of get the gist, and maybe even leave a little more of the Saints Row story thing, and so I can air my complaints about that, because unbeknownst to you, since you don't really play, or know, I don't know your knowledge to the extent of the Saints Row series, but it sounds like you don't play that a lot. Like Saints Row 4 and on was kind of a disappointment, more or less. I mean, some people were like, it's fine, silliness, boo-hoo-hoo. I mean, that's not the point. It kind of went off the rails because they were trying to
not be Grand Theft Auto.
Who was it? Yeah, they were trying to. It was, the whole Saints Row 3 and 2 was trying to keep, and they did it rightfully so. They did very well at it. They were trying to keep their king spot of, being the boss.
You know what's weird? I just want to veer off this tangent for a second to say something, and that is, games that are in the style of Grand Theft Auto shouldn't try hard to be. If they're trying too hard to not be Grand Theft Auto, they're not working. For example, Mafia 2.
Mafia 2, yes.
It was a great game, Grand Theft Auto style, but the fact that it was in the 1930s made it feel like it wasn't Grand Theft Auto. 40s, whatever. And in Saints Row, they made a futuristic setting. They didn't have to get silly. I mean, if it would have been a futuristic GTA, and it would have been great. It would have been fine. Well, I mean, the silliness was kind of funny. And with Mafia 3, it's like
out of hell. It fucking stayed and went up the walls.
With Mafia 3, it's going to be in the 80s. It's also going to feel different.
I saw that too. It's this 1970s.
They said the 80s.
70s, no.
It's the 80s. Shut up.
I saw the trailer yesterday, more recent than you. It's the 80s or 70s. Why would it be the 80s?
Because you don't know me or who I am.
That I saw the trailer more recently than you, and even saw the interview with that one guy who was like, hey, we're going to add in this weird aspect of taking over businesses because we want to be like The Godfather 2, because that series never took off because they fucking bombed it.
The games?
Yeah, the Godfather games bombed because Godfather 2 is Godfather 2 is one of those good bad games. Like, it's so fucking awful, it's fantastic.
I don't know, when we played it at Danny's, I had a pretty good time.
Yeah, but, it's, like, Godfather 2 is so bad. I mean, I'm not going to say this to Daniel, because he'll fucking, pop a gasket knowing that one of his favorite games of all time is one of the best, worst games of all time, because it's so fucking awful, it's great. God, I'm losing my point. So with Saints Row, they were trying too hard with the, trying to stay silly and try to keep open world up a wraps, that they kind of forgot the story they were going with, which I thought was really interesting. With Saints Row Run and all this, the story that they went with was, I guess it was kind of a weird common moral of violence doesn't solve violence. Like, fighting fire with fire is not good. That was the whole thing of Saints Row 1, and it kind of carried over, finished off in Saints Row 2. I mean, the whole reason all these, not all the gangs started, but the whole reason the Saints started, and there was a gang in the first Saints Row called the Vice Kings. The whole reason those gangs started was because they were trying to combat gang violence, because in the city of Stillwater, gang violence was on a rise, so these two childhood friends were like, let's start a gang, and then that gang got out of control, and so one of the childhood friends who becomes like the main leader, or like the first ever leader of the Saints, starts a gang to combat his friend's crazy rise to power. And so, like, the whole thing everybody takes away is violence doesn't solve violence. Starting something horrible to combat something horrible isn't going to work. You got to do it some other way. And so they kind of threw aside the story, Saints Row 3 and on, for the silliness, which I was kind of sad about, because it was a good story. It had, I guess, semi-decent developed characters. They weren't like anything from, Shakespeare, but they were still pretty good. But they threw it all aside. They threw all character development aside for, there's a naked lady running down the street raping people with a dildo sword.
I feel like that's what happened to Assassin's Creed, but less like that.
Yeah, do you get it? Like, they threw aside all this shit for, glorifying aspect of the game. It was really disappointing. It was just like, you know what? Fuck your story that some of you little nerds got attached to. Everybody else wants the dick buttness and all this. So fuck you. they just killed all story.
Dick butt.
And then they tried to revamp it in I mean, like the story to Get Out of Hell was kind of trash. That game didn't need to exist. It just did because fuck you. That's why. Like the developers of the Saints Row series were such on a high power trip that they just shit out another game, and it was fun. It was challenging. They took out a lot of like easy cheats, which I thought was cool. You can't just easily cheat. You have to unlock shit, which is kind of awesome. But other than that, it was just bleh. It didn't need to happen. It was retarded. But I guess when you have something that's good, just use it 1,000 times and you'll stay good, right? Wrong. Fuck you, Seth. Blah, blah. What is it? Saints Row series. You were good, then you went retarded. Never go. You went full retard. Never go full retard. Anyways, what else is on the discussion agenda?
Dude, I totally got lost after like the first 2 minutes of any of that.
Now you understand how I felt when you talked about Mass Effect for like an hour.
You know what we should do?
What are we doing?
We should play some Evil Within. Actually, no, we shouldn't do that. What else?
We still have like an hour to fill, and I don't want to keep going. But anyways,
Phil,
so that was just
where's
my
Phil? I better hunt him down.
games here. I'm gonna go.
What else is happening? Oh, I'd like to mention one thing, and
that
is I like to call it the state of Gama Obscura.
The state of Game Obscura.
Gama Obscura.
Gama Obscura.
I wanted it to sound Latin because it's interesting. Because I don't know if you've ever heard of these games in recent years, but The Evil Within and Alien Isolation, Outlast.
No fucking shit.
But you do realize that
they exist.
After they came out,
they went obscure.
Particularly these 3 games, they were gone. Like, no one heard anything from them until DLCs came out, but even then, it's like, no one gave a shit. It's like, what happened?
Well, no, people gave a shit. Like, no, I mean, you're right, people didn't give a shit, but they were updated.
It was like, it was because it's a weird phenomenon I'm seeing, and, like, it's that things are becoming obscure, and it's annoying because there are a lot of games like,
That's how media works in general.
Like Serious Sam and Deus Ex Human Revolution that aren't even good games, but managed to rise. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Deus Ex Human Revolution and Serious Sam, but I mean, even for the time, they're a little iffy. But somehow they rose up. And these are just 2 examples. I'm not stating that these are specific games such as this. They're just something I can pull out of my ass to talk about. These 2 games not only avoided it, but they rose well above it, and they are known like in this cult history thing. The same with the Elder Scrolls Skyrim. The same with DayZ, even though DayZ is a little more obscure. What else? There's so many. It's ridiculous.
I get what you're saying. Like, I mean, the audience probably doesn't, but I understand what you're saying. Like, you're not naming obscure shit, but I get the gist.
I'm not saying these games are obscure. I'm saying they became obscure for no reason.
Because you can't think of the actual obscurity.
Like, the games I can really think of for the obscurating is just, The Evil Within, Alien Isolation, and Outlast. All 3 of those which I thoroughly enjoyed and still enjoy,
Wah, because the internet kind of gave up on them.
But they were fine games. That's the odd thing.
Fine games, but it's like, that's how media works. I mean, you're thinking of this as some kind of weird, shocking revelation, but that's just how media
Well, no, it's not a revelation. It's just something I'd like to point out.
Same thing with, like, movies. Like, no one gives a fuck about Captain. Like, sure, there's still some people who are like, oh my god, it's gonna be great, but, like, everybody gave up on Transformers. Everybody kind of moved on past Transformers. It's not an obscure thing you're describing. I get it, though.
I did not like Transformers at all.
But I get what you're saying. It happens all the time in different mediums, whether it's books, movies, or games. They kind of.
Well, I mean, this is a gaming channel. I felt like I should mention it in gaming.
I know, but that was just better examples of it. It exists as a thing. It's tantamount, and then people move on. That's just because, like, the media has turned us, the majority of, like, mass consumers, into ADHD freaks because we have to have something to newly
I was
catch our
curious
attention.
about it,
That's why
and I
games
realized
like
it
The
just didn't
Thief
make any
go
sense.
under, like they're on the high pedestal and then they go down, like they're just obscure. I get what you're saying. That's like
They're obscure.
Human Revolution and Outlast. They were on the pedestal for a bit and then they got knocked off because there was something else shiny to
But
catch.
but one thing why I think gaming would stand aside from a movie, and there's also reasons why a movie would stand aside from a book or a game, is because the reason I think the fuses burn out is because a lot of people watch Let's Players play these games, burn through them in a weekend, and don't even buy them, and don't play them themselves, and don't
I
experience it
agree.
themselves, and the game is gone. You know?
That's a good point. Like you have this, entity that can just play the game that's popular, and then once you've watched them experience the story along with you, you can just fuck off. That's actually a really good point.
See, that's why I wanted to. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to stray away from the Let's Playing. The other reason is that I felt like I was kind of following a trend. I did enjoy it when I was younger, but I don't really enjoy it much nowadays. I do
Because
enjoy screwing
it's a
around in
cornered
video games
market.
and recording it. Those are fun because it's just like, hey, we're farting around, boop a doop a doop.
I mean, it's a cornered market, and I was subconsciously angry because there were these guys who are like they're vloggers and gamers now. They started I subconsciously got mad at it, but then I realized what they were doing. There's this gaming channel by these two vloggers called Kyle and Damien, and it's called Ponage. And what they do is like they stray away from the let's play an entire game beginning to end. Go. They've strayed away from that. They just do whatever they want, and every year it's something completely different. Like their formula is not the fucking same ever. The only way to stake your claim in the gaming market nowadays is to stray away from the common formula of be silly an entire game way through. You have to add something to it.
I don't know, man. I was just like, because I mean, another point I could make to moot my Let's Player ripping is that The Evil Within, Alien Isolation, and Outlast were all fun, but they didn't bring anything really new to the table. In fact, they all had very similar mechanics, if you think about it. They're very interesting games to bring up. In Alien Isolation, Evil Within, Outlast, you have to hide. It's better to avoid the enemy, with the exception of Evil Within and occasionally Alien Isolation, where it gives you the opportunity to fight it. It's interesting, I guess you can say, but at the same time, while they're three separate games, I do enjoy the formula and I do enjoy playing them. I wouldn't play them for hours, but I'd still buy the game. I still support, as you can see from my desktop, I'd still buy the game. I'd still support the thing because they put a lot of money and effort into this video game, whether it's an old formula or a new formula. I don't really care.
It's just kind of good.
It's just like, I guess it doesn't really matter how much media coverage it gets as long as I am personally enjoying it. I just thought it was silly and almost annoying that people made a huge rage about it. Like, this is the new video game. This is the best video game of the year. This is going to be amazing. It's going to be an amazing experience. And keep in mind, these are the people talking, not the game devs. The game devs are like, I don't know, man. We worked hard on it. You guys enjoy. And out of nowhere, it's just like they don't even mention it again until a DLC comes out and they talk about it for like 2 days. I mean, hell, Destiny got more coverage than these three games, and you can argue Destiny's a better game. And if you do that, fine. I may hunt you down and slice off your penis.
Necessarily argue. Well, I don't. You can argue that Destiny is a better game. It all depends. I mean, I get what you're saying, but it all depends. Like the games, all you've named are either from companies that are not, I guess, less. They're less fun. They're either independent companies, i.e., Outlast, or companies that are smaller than big companies. Like the people who made not Outlast, the people who made Destiny have like more marketing resources. They have more money to spend, and they have more.
But it's not about the marketing resources. This is what people need to understand.
That's basically how a game
stays. Like, what I'm talking about is news coverage and word of mouth. And sure, marketing helps, but that mostly comes from gamers. Like, because I'm talking about the gaming community, not a movie here. That mostly comes from gamers' support.
True. It comes from like the LPers chanting.
Unless you're IGN and you get paid to review stuff.
IGN went from like a regular gaming news site to the fucking GOP of games. Like they're so retarded.
IGN is Fox News, but less stupid.
Exactly, that's what I said. But all right.
You said Fox News. You said GOP.
Who the fuck do you think Fox News supports?
I don't know.
The GOP, the Grand Old Party. It's the Fox News, the Republican Party, and the GOP are all kind of the same entity with different
I
prospects.
didn't even know this thing called the Grand Old Party existed. What the fuck?
Are you okay? Well, you don't delve into politics, so that's understandable. But
No, because I'm too punk for politics, apparently.
if you ever hear Republican, Fox News, or GOP, all of those are separate entities, but they're all connected to the same base. So if you ever hear GOP, Fox News, or Republican, it's all the same fucking thing, just different faces.
If I ever hear GOP, Fox News, or Republican, I'm gonna simply not respond.
Well, you don't have to respond. I'm just saying, like, it's the same fucking voice saying the same thing. So that's why I say GOP, because it's basically the same fucking thing. Like, they're obviously different entities,
Do you
but
even
they
fuck, bro?
all say the same fucking thing. One's a political denomination, one's a quote-unquote news source, and the other one's just
quote unquote news source.
Yeah, because they don't pump out news. They pump out shit their base wants to hear. Like, what did Obama do today? He clipped his nails. Communist!
Ow.
Like, they have to find shit to.
Also,
Obama.
side note, Disney is evil. They're messing with our brains. They are elite. We are all blindfolded. Open
Remember
your
when
eyes.
they buy PewDiePie's thing, like, directly? I mean, like, Disney actually owns a lot of YouTube channels, but they buy companies to buy those channels, so it's kind of like a chain. But they actually, with PewDiePie's channel name, everything, they fucking went directly to him and said, "We want to buy you." Like,
And he was like, "No, I'm okay.
yeah, I
I'm
don't know
good."
how much money they offered him, but it was kind of shocking that them as a resource just went out and said, "We'll fucking buy you, and we'll directly be a thing. We're not going to go through some fucking like scrub company that buys YouTube channels. We'll fucking pay you."
No, I'm okay. That should be a quote. That should be quote. No, dot dot dot. I'm okay. Unquote. Dash PewDiePie to Disney 2014.
Wasn't that like 13ish? I don't know. It was sometime.
I don't know. I stopped paying attention because I'm not like I still have respect for him as a person. He's still a really cool person, especially with all the money he's raised.
We'll just get it out
Like
of the way.
he's up there with like the bronies in terms of how much they actually give a shit about the world. Like as an entity, him, Markiplier and everything. But I just don't enjoy his content anymore. It's just
It's just fucking garbage. Like, it used to be good, but he fucking
look. My sister made a joke and she was like, "I think it's because you like matured."
Well, that's true, but I think it's because like his shit is. I don't know. He just makes like flashy things because his audience is just made up of children, and I don't know if he. I'm assuming, like, my theory is he's come to terms with like that. He's lost control of his fan base, like, because some LPers can kind of, like, in a sense, they can't completely, but they can kind of, to a certain extent when they're smaller, can kind of swerve.
No, I don't think he's doing anything
not
intentionally.
necessarily.
I just think that
where their fan base is going. His is out of fucking control.
Well, no, I don't think there's anything like that going on. I just think that he's not entertaining to me as a person anymore. I don't think he's doing anything wrong. I think he is still in some way, shape, or form putting effort and care into his videos.
Right.
It's just to the point. It's just one of those things where it doesn't entertain me anymore. It still entertains my 10-year-old brother who watches him, but not me. I just couldn't get into him. I can't right now. I did, and I think I went back to watch one of the older videos I watched of him before and found amusing, and I noticed that I wasn't as amused. So I think it's less like PewDiePie is selling out and PewDiePie is going with the trend, and more that we're just not into that anymore, I guess. I don't want to say matured because I don't want to throw him any shade. I don't like doing that.
I just think compared to like not just his older stuff, but like I guess since he's been around, a while now, not just his older stuff, but his older stuff and his, I guess, year-oldish stuff was kind of okay. But it's like anything. Well, no, I would say anything like the end of 2013 back, that was okay. Like beginning 2014 on, I'm not a fan of, which I can kind of agree. It's just kind of not something we, are attracted to anymore.
No, I still think him as a person, he's a great guy, and he actually, again, much like, the Brony fandom or Markiplier, give a shit about the world and actually donate millions of dollars to good causes and whatnot. His content I cannot enjoy, and that's where I draw the line. I still think he's an okay person, and he's real too. Like, I don't know if you saw his video about addressing what people thought about how much money he made when it was leaked online, but he was real as fuck. He was like, "It's fucking money. I don't give a shit. And you don't give a shit. Why does it matter what I make at the end of the day?"
Yeah, he did he did multiple videos on that.
Well, there was one main one because it blew the fuck up.
I saw that one too.
But anyway, either way, he's just an overall okay dude. I just don't like his videos.
It just kind of happened. He just kind of happened to be popular. He was just doing it because, as most LPers do it, they just do it because they want to do it.
Yeah.
I always wonder what it's going to be like when, YouTube, it's probably going to be many, many years down the line, but I always wonder what's going to happen. Like, what's the policy going to be when a YouTuber passes away? Like, what happens then?
I think that the channel just goes dark. They don't have any right or anything to do with that channel.
I mean, I guess this video is just, even though it's supposed to be last weekend's video, last weekend's just fuck that video, because this video has to be this coming, this video that you guys are listening to was supposed to be just for it to make more sense chronologically, this video was supposed to be August 8th weekend's video, correct? Am I correct on that?
Yippers.
But instead, it's going to be the August 15th video. It's supposed to be that month, but it's probably going to be uploaded on the 13th, maybe. And,
I'll see if I can have it up by the 14th.
14th, 13th, around there. It's going to be that weekend's video for twofold. Number one, obviously, because we recorded it, and number two, for the most of that weekend, my grandfather is going to be visiting from Arkansas, so I'm just going to be completely dark, no radio contact, till maybe Sunday afternoon.
The phrase is radio silence, Reid.
Whatever the fuck you want to call it. And then either on the 16th or sometime after the 16th, we'll get on recording the 22nd.
The 16th?
Sometime after the 16th, we'll get on recording the 22nd, that Saturday's thing, and etc. Throughout the week, we'll try to record it, and then we'll have it up around the weekend time.
Dank.
So last weekend doesn't get one because I was going through shit, but other than that, good job. We'll try to keep it up.
Uh-huh.
So if you get home tired, just power through it, you ass, because we have shit to do. So
I'll let you know my work schedule.
What about the 22nd? Do you have anything about that? Because that's the...
I don't know. I'm too lazy to pull out my work schedule right now. I'll just text it to you.
Fucking whore. Facebook it, because that's, I have my tablet. It never leaves my side because I don't have a phone. So just Facebook. I will get it. Trust me.
No, I know. I use text as a term of endearment.
Well, you're going to be depressed because I don't have a phone.
Well, fuck you. It's not
just
actual
Facebook
texting.
on your phone.
No, that's what I mean. I'm going to text you by
shove your phone up your ass and go hump a fucking donkey. I don't care. Let's roll.
Oh my god, chill out. I meant that I was going to text you via the Facebook app on my phone. That's what I meant from the beginning.
Put the book in the face. You'll be in the book face, or the Facebook. Did I say put your book in the face? I meant, okay, I'm going to go sleep now.
Okay, so thanks for watching, people who care. I'm Dub Chief Gamer. Say goodbye, Reid.
Goodbye. No one loves you.
Subscribe
you were adopted.
Subscribe to care. Brotherly love, everybody.
Black people.